If there was one place where you can go to a scary maze like You're Not Scary Farm, attend a panel of horror BIPOC creators, get to know the latest in Halloween Horror Nights, as well as learning how to script for horror movies and shows, and see a horror-themed drag competition, this is it. Welcome to the Nostalchica, where we talk all things spooky and nostalgic. And today's video is brought to you by Michael Myers. If you're a spooky person or someone who loves Halloween all year round, I got you. These are some events you definitely want to check out. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Now the first one I want to start with, we're going to go big or go home, right? So the first one is Midsummer Scream, which actually happened in July. I went for the first time with my partner and we had a blast. They first started in 2016 and have since done it every year, but once COVID hit in 2020, they took 2 years off and then came back in 2022, where they first introduced Return of the Living Drag and continued on with panels and workshops, and it's been held every year since 2016 in the Long Beach Convention Center, and it just continues to grow year after year. Just to give you an idea, their first year in 2016 was about 8,000 attendees, and now they're getting at least 30,000, if not more. And it happens every year in the summer. And why the Long Beach Convention Center? They said it's a dense population of a lot of horror and Halloween lovers and fans, which, hello, I'm not from Long Beach, but you know, your girl's not too far. But definitely there are a ton of spooky people in Southern California, and Long Beach, I could see why they have it there. And it was founded by David Markland, Claire Dunlap, Rick West, and Gary Baker. I describe it as like a spooky heaven on earth, where you get to do pretty much anything in the horror and Halloween world. It happens 3 days in a weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We went Saturday, but every single day has different events, performances, panels. I mean, you name it, they had it. When you first get there, they actually have food trucks like outside of the convention center, so before you come in to the event itself, you can definitely get a bite to eat, and they check you in, and then you see everything, you go into wherever you want. Once you get into the Long Beach Convention Center, it's like 3 different levels. Since it was our first time going, had I known how much was actually happening, we would have gone much earlier in the day. We had 1-day passes, and that's just something I recommend. If you're gonna go to this convention next year, totally go as early as you can, because there is a lot to see and a lot to do. They had this first floor where it was over 350 vendors. I mean, it is huge, right? I mean, just so much happening, so much going on. I felt like the whole time I was like, oh my God, I gotta go here, I gotta go here. And it was just like a lot going on. So I highly recommend before you go, you kind of just take a look at where everything is. And a lot of the spooky shops, small businesses, if you follow them on Instagram, they were sharing ahead of time where their booth was, and so you just kind of follow the map and you find their booth and then kind of plan your route from there. This is where we spent the majority of our time, and we met some really cool spooky vendors, small businesses who are really killing it, slaying if you will. So if you want to shop till you drop, this is the place to do it. In this section is also where you can find celebrities and guests who are there. For me, a big reason why I went was to see the Grim Life Collective. I'm gonna be honest, I was so nervous meeting them for the first time. I love their videos here on YouTube and what they do and how they do it. Just like spooky couple goals. And meeting them, they were just so nice, so gracious. They were there, as well as cast from The Lost Boys and the composer of Cry Little Sister of The Lost Boys, which was really cool, and many more. Also here in this section, which is really important, especially if you're prepared for a long day or you're really tired and you want to stay energized, they had Catfight Coffee, which if you haven't tried them before, I highly recommend. I was going to show one of their coffee flavors, but we did finish the bag, so I'm going to put a little photo or something of it somewhere here before we drank it all. They were actually there, and you were able to wait in line, kind of like you were just ordering a coffee at Starbucks, but a lot better and spookier. We got the Meowgical something, I forgot the exact name, but I'll put it up here somewhere, and this is what it looked like, and it was just so good. And it was iced because, you know, you get hot, and it was hot day during the summer, so iced coffee really hit the spot, and we just went on our merry way. And we were energized for the rest of the time we were there. Now we're going to talk about the vendors, so the businesses that are selling spooky merch, spooky shirts, purses, accessories, anything you could think of. One brand business that I really wanted to go specifically at this event for was Backstitch Bruja, who is Yvette, a Latina Latinx founder and creator. I've been wanting one of her purses for ages. Like, she would post new ones, and she has the cutest spooky bags out there. Highly recommend following her on Instagram and just checking it out for yourself. But like with the whole Barbie movie like hitting big this summer, she already knew what she was doing. I love the strategy behind that, but also the creativity. She just had the cutest purses to blend that nostalgia, Barbie, and spooky together, and she made the best purses for that, which I will show you in a mini haul after this. And what is awesome about us spending the majority on this floor is throughout all the different booths and setups, there were like people dressed up all creepy. I remember one of them was a lady dressed up as a creepy doll, and she was walking super slow and just staring straight. It's kind of like entertainment as you're walking around, and there were people that were there to kind of jump scare you, like not so much, not like Not Scary Farm, but like here and there, which I thought was smart and just added more spookiness to it all. And I love that even though this was a Halloween and horror convention, that there was a lot of nostalgia in there too, especially with like this brand here, very 80s themed, inspired signage, but also just like their products as well, which, you know, when nostalgia and spooky come together, that's what it's all about here. Had I done more research, I would have been better prepared for all the panels they had and the performances, which I was really unaware of. They had this panel on BIPOC horror creators, so people who make YouTube videos, Instagram content, just online about horror. It was so awesome to see they had a panel on that, because in this community, as anywhere else, that representation is definitely needed, and the fact that they had a panel all about that, that was perfect. That was much needed on their part, and another reason why I'd love to go next year and why other people should check it out too. They also had panels on Halloween Horror Nights and everyone who was involved in that, and what was to come, what was new for later this year during Halloween, as well as Not Scary Farm celebrating their 50th anniversary. They had a panel on that, talking about like the history and what's to come, what's new this year, and how they're celebrating. They were also doing live recordings of podcasts there. I was able to find out some new podcasters in the horror Halloween community, spooky community. It's really cool when you find new creators, new podcasters to listen to who talk about the stuff that you love as well. And as if live recordings of podcasts and panels weren't enough, they also did classes and workshops on scripting for horror, acting in horror, even if you wanted to be a professional scarer, you know, those in the mazes, the Not Scary Farms, all that. They were offering that as well. They also had like a shadow hall. I think they call it Shadow Expo Hall. This is where they had at least 12 different mazes. If you wanted to get your scare on, you could definitely get your little scary maze fantasy here. And one of the best things that I missed this, but like they have a performance called The Return of the Living Drag. Yes, you heard me. This is their second year doing it. It started last year, I believe, and this is also where they do Dragula. This is where everything happens, the Boulet brothers. I remember I was just like walking on the floor, like looking at all the vendors and the booths and all that, and then came across like this beautiful individual with spikes just shooting out and just beat to the gods. I was just taken aback and was like, oh my god, is it okay if we take a picture? And so I take a picture and I'm like, thank you so much. And I'm like, are you on Instagram? So, you know, that happened. And then I texted my friend and I showed a picture of who that was. And my friend was like, oh my god, do you even know who you took a picture with? And I was like, no, not really. And they're like, that is the winner of Dragula. And I was just like, My friend was like, that is Victoria Elizabeth Black. I hadn't followed Dragula and was like, oh my god, I can't believe. I was like, do you have an Instagram? When I met her, she was really nice about it and was really sweet, and I just saw her beauty and her stunning look head to toe. I just had to ask for a photo and she accepted and was just super nice. And just to wrap all this up, any of you going next year or you're thinking of going next year, highly recommend going early. That way you can get through as much as possible. And if you really want to do it all, like the panels, the workshops, the classes, and see all the live performances and go to the vendors, then I would suggest looking into the weekend pass. So they had the weekend pass, single day pass, which is great for options. There's a parking garage like right before the convention, so I would recommend you park there. They do charge, so keep that in mind. We did see other lots that could have been cheaper, I'm not sure. Get there early. Not only can you make all the cool events during the convention, but you can also find guaranteed parking. Lucky for us, in the parking center, we got there like around 4 p.m. and we were the last ones to get the spot. Like that was the final spot, so we got really lucky. And these are just some spooky folks having the time of their lives. I had to shout them out because they're perfectly representing the spooky community, especially the Latinx community. We go hard on our horror and Halloween, okay? Now, like I mentioned, Midsummer Scream already happened. It happens every summer, so keep your eye on it for next year. But if you didn't get to make that, there's still opportunities for you, and I'm gonna share them with you right now. Coming up this week, actually September 2nd, is October Village. Now this is held in Santa Ana, California, so now we're going from LA County Midsummer Scream to Orange County. It's held at the DoubleTree Hotel. And this is something actually I went to earlier this year in March for my birthday, went with my girls. I love you if you're watching this. Thank you for making my birthday spooky and nostalgic and so special. But for anybody who wants to have that pop-up experience, like a spooky Halloween pop-up, this is it. And what's really cool is at these pop-ups, you'll see a lot of the vendors that also go to the bigger conventions throughout the year. So you do get to see familiar faces as well as new ones. So the differences here is it's on a smaller scale. It's in Orange County, specifically Santa Ana, California. Entry is absolutely free. This is a one-day event. So of course, like all the spooky people came out and there was just a huge line that wrapped around, but it was nice waiting in line. We met people and just kind of like shared that same interest. A little side note, entry is free, but they did offer, I think it was $20 to be a VIP, so like you can cut the line and get right in. But hey, cool, if it's free, I'm going for free. So once you get in, there was like photo ops with the Nightmare Before Christmas characters and other setups. Then there was the bar, so you can order a drink, which of course we did. And then you make your way in and you kind of see the floor of all the vendors and the shops. So every booth is a different vendor. There are cosplayers there, which I got the opportunity to take a picture with. She was super sweet, super nice, and it just added like another cherry on top of my birthday experience here. And it was really nice because there was a DJ setup, so as you're walking around checking out each vendor booth, you're listening to some good music. They played The Cure, you can hear Joy Division if you're into like that kind of alt indie, dark wave, new wave, even some 80s bops were there too, which the nostalgic part of me was like, yes, get it. So the music was great, and then they had like food vendors, deadly sweets, so freaking good. I mean, ooh, I don't know if you heard the crack in my voice, but the power of their sweets just like, it just took hold of me. I was in heaven. Like, highly recommend if anyone hasn't tried them before. I even think they're doing coffees now too, like they make their own coffees, so definitely check that out if you're a coffee fiend as well. Now, if you can't make that pop-up in Santa Ana, there's another huge convention happening later in September, specifically September 23rd and 24th, called Creepy Con. This is like the Inland Empire's largest Halloween and horror convention. Midsummer Scream is like the world's largest, but Creepy Con is like the Inland Empire's largest. So if you didn't get to go to Midsummer Scream, definitely try going to Creepy Con, because you're gonna kind of get not the exact same experience, but like on that kind of level where it's like a huge convention. And this is held at the Ontario Convention Center in Ontario, California, and tickets are available for sale. You do have to pay for entry, which It's totally worth it to make a big convention like this. And like Midsummer Scream, you have the option to buy single day tickets or weekend tickets. The single day being $30 to $35, and then the whole weekend, which is 2 days, would be like $55 is what I've seen online. And for this one, I had to get my book out because Ghoul, you know, keeping it all in here is not always it. So some celebrity guests here at CreepyCon are going to be the Tim Curry, Rose McGowan, Tony Todd, and Holly Marie Combs, just to name a few. And although I haven't been to CreepyCon, from what I've read online and done research, it seems like it's going to be that setup where it's going to be spooky vendors and small businesses, as well as, of course, the celebrities and guests, cosplayers, and in addition to all that, they also offer cinema, which is one of their experiences where you can watch horror and pop culture films on 16mm vintage film. And then they have something called Arcade, which is 8-bit gaming and pop culture themed photo ops. Sounds super fun and super nostalgic, of course. So again, here, just like at Midsummer Scream, you're getting that spookiness and nostalgia all together. They're also gonna have the best food trucks in the area there. So if you need to get your grub on, don't worry. It sounds like they're gonna have you covered. And for an additional $15 per ticket, you can attend their after hours party after the event has ended, which they're calling Aftermath After Party. And it's gonna have a DJ, live music, food, drinks, costume contest where the winner will take $500 home. It just sounds like a total ball. Now, if you made it this far, Betty and I have a couple items, a little mini haul of what we got at Midsummer Scream. So get ready, guys and ghouls, Nostalchicas, Nostalchicos. I'm just gonna pick these at random. The order doesn't mean anything, but let's start with, we're starting with a sticker. This is for all y'all who love spooky and nostalgic mixed together, because I can't think of an ice cream I wanted more when I was little, when the ice cream truck came through. This is an artist spooky twist on that, and here she is. Ain't she cute? This is by artist Abe. It's just your favorite childhood popsicle and the Bride of Frankenstein. So I'd highly recommend just checking artist Abe out to see more spooky nostalgic stickers. Okay, next. Not me knowing what I'm touching because I could feel it, but ooh, ooh. I feel like goth, 80s, spooky, nostalgia all in one. I couldn't think of a more perfect pin. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, Nostalchica, is that the Robert Smith of the Cure? You best believe it is. Instead of Aquanet, it says Gothic Net. When I say there's a mix of spooky nostalgia and a pair of earrings, this is it. Just look at these earrings. I love that we're making Barbie spooky and goth. All the while, there's sparkle and glitter on those bats on the top, so you're still keeping that like cute part of it as well. And these are from the Zombie Lounge. I cannot wait to wear them. And I have this thing that I need to work on where when I buy things that I really love, I hold on to them and don't use them until a super special occasion. And I really need to stop doing that because they're meant to be worn and used anytime I want. Best believe I'll be wearing these soon, and you'll see very shortly how these would go perfectly with something else that may or may not be sitting on Betty's lap. I'm thinking of in the future, if you want to see this paired with an outfit, I could do a reel on my Instagram with these, as well as maybe a short here on YouTube. Let me know if you want to see some like outfits inspired by this haul. Now, what Betty has here, going to Midsummer Scream, was all about this right here. When I say the epitome of spooky and Barbie magic, just like nostalgia and spooky stuff coming together in a purse, this is what I'm talking about. Tell me this isn't the cutest spooky Barbie purse you've seen. Oh, the quality. I love the pink. I mean, Betty, girl, this is you. This is your purse. She's giving me inspiration. You see what she does? This is exactly why you're here. Thank you, girl. You can hold it like this on your hand, or you have straps here where you can just like put it over your shoulder in the back. Like I said, I've been waiting for a long time to buy a purse of hers. The fact that she's Latina and she's just really killing it, just that much more special. Now that's the end of the mini haul, but I do want to mention some small businesses and vendors who were there. I didn't purchase from at Midsummer Scream, but they were just super nice. I love their energy and they were super helpful, and just you could tell they love doing what they do. One being the pumpkin shop. I was gravitating toward these super cute purple ghosts that you would just stand like on as decoration on your desk on a shelf, and then saw some earrings. Then I saw some cute pumpkin bags, like beach bags. I really enjoyed the conversation I had with who I believe is the owner. Had to shout them out. Just thank you for being so sweet. Another great vendor experience I had was the Collective Coven, and they were just so helpful. I asked about any of their hats, if they had it in a different color scheme, and they said that they can maybe do them custom, or that they may have some in pink, or because I was going for that spooky Barbie vibe. I love their business card. It says, "I love the smell of coffee and witchcraft in the morning," which we're big fans of coffee here on the Nostalchica, Betty included. Last but not least, there's Coolsville, and I was immediately drawn to their sign in the Nostalchica colors, the aqua and the pink, just beautiful. I just had to tell them how beautiful their sign was, and the fact that they're nearby where I am and I haven't been there yet, I was like, I need to go. So I guess this was a sign to go, even outside of these conventions. If you have a favorite item from the haul, or one of the favorite of the 3 conventions pop-ups I talked about today, let me know. If you have a favorite vendor that you would like to share in the comments, or anyone that we should know about, please share it with us. Betty and I would love for you to share them below. I do feature Betty a lot on my Instagram, so stay tuned for some costume changes with her. As always, thank you for watching this video. Stay safe, keep persevering, and keep shining. Nostalchica